little kid, his name is Peter. And Peter loves clowns. So he has clown toys, clown clothes, clown action figures. His room is painted like a clown. He's a clown every year for Halloween, right? And he lives in a small Illinois town. Yeah, you're good. A small Illinois town. It's a factory town, you know, a lot of people, the guys are working there in the factory.
Rust Belt.
Yeah, Rust Belt, exactly. Yeah. That's where Mike Pence is from, you know? And,
Columbus, Indiana.
Exactly. And when he's 9 years old, he sees a flyer in town that a circus is coming up. So he brings it to his mom and his dad. He says, guys, the circus coming to town. I want to see the clown. So like, Peter, it's expensive. He said, look, you don't got to buy me anything for Christmas. Just take me to the circus. I want to see the clowns. I'm good. They're like, all right, Peter, we'll go. So the fateful day comes. It's November 13th, 1987. And on that day, they drive their 1982 Toyota Corolla to the event, right? They get seats right down front of the circus. The initial act is like guys at like the tightrope walkers, which is cool, but that's not why we're here, you know what I mean? So he's watching the tightrope walkers, and then these lion tamers come out, which is awesome, but it's not why we're here, you know? All of these other circus jugglers, and all of a sudden, the lights go dark. And a bright pink light comes on, and this little car comes out. It's just fucking, you know, and all of a sudden clowns start coming out of the car. Small clowns, fat clowns, old clowns, young clowns, black clowns, white clowns, female clowns, male clowns. 37 clowns are in this little car. And all of a sudden, the head clown comes out. And he's such a head clown that he doesn't, his hair is legitimately poofy. He has a big red nose. Thank you. I made her get you a towel.
Alright, that's fine.
It's only like 25 cents.
I know.
She got it. So this main clown steps out, and he has a red nose without having his face is pale. His feet are size 22 without the clown. Like, he is a clown. And he grabs a microphone and he says, I need a volunteer. Well, Peter is just putting his hand up, like, come on, me. And the clown's acting like he's not seeing him, but Peter's jumping up and down, you know? And the clown's looking and he goes, you, and he calls on Peter. Well, Peter comes down, he grabs the mic and he says, what's your name, son? He goes, my name's Peter, Mr. Clown. And he says, Peter, are you a horse's head? He says, no, I'm not a horse's head. Are you a horse's mane, Peter? He says, no, I'm not a horse's mane. He says, well, are you a horse's leg, Peter? He says, no, I'm not a horse's leg, Mr. Clown. He goes, well, then you must be a horse's ass. And everybody starts laughing. Everyone in the audience, his parents, his friends, the clowns, everyone's pointing at him laughing. And Peter just breaks down. Starts crying, and he runs out of the circus tent. He runs the 9.3 miles home without a ride, just sprints. Goes up into his room, collects all of his clown memorabilia, takes it outside, and he burns it all. And from that day, for the next 6 months, Peter does not utter a word to his parents. Nothing. And they're worried about him. They take him to psychiatrists. You know, they're like, Peter, you know, you got
really long joke.
So eventually it is. Yes, so we're not halfway.
I have to remember. We're not even halfway.
Yeah, it's fine.
I have to remember anything.
So 6 months later, after the event, we're calling it the event, Peter comes down and he says, hey guys, I've worked through this. I don't want to talk about it. Something happens. I'm over it. I'm good to go. We're fine. So Peter goes to high school. He's a straight A student. 4.0. He gets a full ride to Dartmouth. But the day he's supposed to leave, he sits his parents down and he says, Mom, Dad, I'm not going to Dartmouth. I'm going to India. I said, India? He said, yes, there's a temple there that teaches the art of comebackery, which teaches you how to say the best comeback of all time. And because I have some unresolved issues with the clowns, I'm going to go to India instead of Dartmouth. So his parents are like, you know, that's a terrible idea. He said, listen, I'm going. So Peter gets on a plane. He flies to India. He spends the first 3 years learning the Indian language, because it's not an easy language to learn, you know. He eventually masters the Indian language, and he travels deep into the Indian interior. and he finds a temple there. And he says, is this the temple? Hold on. Is this the temple that teaches the art of comebackery? And the main priest at the temple says, yes, son, this is. So Peter says, I would like to live here and learn the arts. So then Peter is at this temple for 10 years, a decade, Audrey, of learning comebackery, right? After 10 years, he's the top pupil. His comebacks are on point. Like, he is just murdering people with these comebacks. But after 10 years, he tells the head guy, he says, aren't I your best student? He says, yes, you are. He says, haven't I worked hard? He says, you've worked really hard. He goes, how come you haven't told me the ultimate comeback? He says, son, you already know it. It's up here. So Peter meditated for like 3 months, and he realized he knew the ultimate comeback. So he spent his money, and he hopped a plane back to America. It's almost over. He gets into that small Indiana town, home of Mike Pence. Columbus, Indiana. And the town's different now. The factories are closed. They moved to Mexico. It's Indiana. You know how to say it. It starts with an I. You got it. His parents are dead. His friends are gone. But he notices a pamphlet in town. It's the last day of the circus. And this is his opportunity. So 20-something years later, he buys a ticket, and he's sitting in the front row. So the circus starts, the tightrope people come out. All right, it's cool, whatever. Old lions with the lion famers. It's like, all right, cool. All of a sudden, the lights go out here. And this fucking pink card is shooting shit out the back. All of a sudden, these clowns are getting out. They're old looking, just dilapidated fucking clowns. They've been doing this for 20 years, And eventually, the main clown gets out. But he's got gray hair, his nose is turned white, his feet are shriveled up, just an old clown. He grabs the microphone, he says, I need a volunteer. Well, Peter raises his hand, me. The clown acts like he doesn't see him, He says, you, sir, you come up. So Peter walks up, stands next to the clown. The clown says, well, what's your name, son? He goes, my name is Peter. Very serious. The clown goes, well, Peter, are you a horse's head? Peter goes, no. The clown's kind of taken aback, Okay. Are you a horse's mane? He says, I am not. The clown's like, Jesus Christ, this kid's kind of serious, He says, are you a horse's leg? He says, no. So you must be a horse's ass. And everyone in the audience starts laughing. And in that moment, Peter felt weak. He flashed back to when he was 9 years old. He almost ran again, but he centered himself. And he grabbed the mic from the clown. The clown stared at him. And he put the mic up to his lips, and he thought about the 10 years of training for the ultimate comeback. And he looked at the clown, he took the mic, and he said, fuck you, clown.